Here we are back at it again. New season of Inside the Show. Welcome to today's episode. I'm Scuffy. I'm with Koogs. And the first thing we need to talk about is Jonathan Lucroy and Shane Victorino as the new event rewards.
Oh man, I've been waiting months. I've been waiting months for these cards, Scuffy. It's about time.
I know this is all
Finally.
This is what we were waiting for to start season 3 off of the
Yes.
bang and get those two rewards right from the rip. And you know how it is.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. January's been a little bit of a grind trying to get ideas going for this game. But once Shane Victorino and Jonathan Lucroy popped up as event rewards, oh man,
baby.
the drive was back. Let me tell you.
Oh, it was. It was. No, but for real, welcome on back. We all know why we're here, why we're starting for season 3, and we finally got it. Ohtani on the cover. It was kind of like we kind of knew it was coming. Let's just say that. With the type of season he had, with the type of market he brings, Ohtani was the right choice. And you know what? I don't want to talk about it further because you're the Angels fan. You have, he's part of he's your boy. He's everyone's boy, but you got that connection a little bit more. So I'll let you have it for just, how excited are you? Ohtani on the cover, and hey, that's not even the start, but we'll get to do that in a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like you said, we kind of knew it was coming. MLB The Show always capitalizes on the most hyped player. Last year it was Tatis. Obviously, maybe not 20 because of Javi Baez, but before that, Bryce Harper and his saga. You got Aaron Judge after his rookie season. Like they always try to capitalize on that guy. So you kind of knew it was gonna be Ohtani. It was just how or what's the cover gonna look like? Was it gonna be a dual cover of him pitching and him hitting, or is it going to be, something different? So it's really cool. As an Angels fan, it's really nice to just for once have the guy on the cover of the game. Like, to my knowledge, I can't think of a baseball, like simulation baseball video game, not talking about 9 innings or tap sports baseball or whatever. I can't think of a baseball game that actually has an angel on the cover because Mike Trout's never been on the show cover. He's never been on the RBI baseball cover. And not really a ton of other options for the Angels for the most part. So it's just really cool. As an Angels fan, it's awesome. And I hope MLB The Show in 22 does the cover justice because it is a sick cover, but let's hope that the game is actually good to go with it because that's really the most important thing.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll dig deeper as we go, especially when the features come out. You know how we do it. We'll go over each feature, go from that. But
We're
go
back,
back
baby. We're
Yeah, we're
back.
back. We're back full. So it's like the new year kind of for us. I mean, if you think, and you know what's funny? Like they did the whole big reveal in Times Square, and we had a couple creators out there, Shelfie, Scan, CC, and it felt like kind of New Year's when you saw the highlights from them, like doing the countdown from Times Square, counting down 10-0, and then Ohtani pops out. It was kind of tricky though. They made him look like a lefty at first. I was like, wait a second. At first,
You knew that was all intentional.
it was. It definitely was. Same with I guess not the reveal, but the tease that they put out over the weekend, where it was like the blue. I had me like, Tim follow up because looking at it, maybe it was DeGrom first pitcher up there. I knew it was Ohtani. Let's face it. I'm just saying, you just never say never. You never know what happens. But I liked how they did with the Times Square type of thing and hype it up. They did a good job there.
Yeah, and
It's just, I'm
And
sorry.
you're right. It's like New Year's for us. I mean, I woke up this morning at 7 a.m. I shaved my head. I shaved the four facial hairs that I
Like
have.
a
I was like,
puppy,
I gotta
man.
look good for the reveal. I gotta look my best. So yeah, no, it's exciting for MLB The Show fans. So definitely a cool idea to do it in Times Square. And with Times Square, and a lot of people had this idea, Scuffy, that with it being in Times Square and it being the show 22. Maybe I'm jumping the gun going into what we're going to talk about, but there's another very popular baseball player that a lot of people thought was going to be on the cover of the game this year, and we actually have to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about, we'll skip the next thing and talk about that right now. And you know what's funny? Someone posted a video about this too. Not only that, and someone else posted a concept before, and I think we might be right on something. Well, I mean, it was kind of predictable, and
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen. Derek Jeter will be on the cover for the deluxe edition. Fortunately for SDS, they had another leak. You could blame Nintendo this time because it looked like the deluxe edition was on the Nintendo store maybe for like minutes,
Yeah.
if even, and it showed the same type of concept with Derek Jeter on the cover, and it looks like he's gonna be the deluxe edition, and gotta say, this is the most markable covers, I should say, that you could ever get right now. I think this is bigger than Griffey, just having them 2 right now. I know Griffey brings to the elite level, but I think this brings up to elite level and just a tiny bit more, just be by how Ohtani gets that global since like, that global eyes on the product, and then you have Jeter with his brand on top of that. I mean, look out.
It's a home run. No pun intended. It's a home run. You get arguably the most marketable baseball player of all time to go along with Ohtani and the history that he just made in this past season. It was a no brainer. SDS, they know what they're doing. They
Yeah,
understand the game.
yeah, and they were the top 10 selling game last year. So you can only imagine what this brings. And you know what? That's a good segue because we got even better, like not better news. Well, I guess I'll say better news, even
Bigger
bigger news.
news.
Bigger news. We saw it with Xbox last year, and then it went on Game Pass. It is going to be on Game Pass this year. They already announced that,
Day
but
one.
there is bigger news than that. It is coming to Nintendo Switch, and I think this was supposed to be happening last year because remember Nintendo kind of posted a tweet when they announced it going to a different console and stuff like that, but it just never came to fruition. Now it is, and now it's here. So I am, for me, that's a Nintendo Switch owner. I'm finally going to be able to do moments here, Kooks. That's all I'm going to say.
You're sitting on the couch watching a movie and
Just watching the Met game, man.
just
Watching the Met game.
knock out some tops nows, you know.
Yeah,
No, it's so cool, man. I'm 100% with you. I think this was supposed to happen for 21, but the pandemic and the working conditions and how things were going, it probably just was a better idea for them to say, let's hold off till 22, make sure we get this right. Because the last thing we want to do is our first year on a console, release a rush product and kind of have a bad reputation to start off. So I think it was the right move. And, it's going to be like playing MLB The Show, the old games on the PSP again, like being able to
yeah.
have that handheld experience and cross progression, cross saves, all that stuff. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. Like just adding all of those elements together, it has never been easier and more accessible to play MLB The Show ever. And it's the perfect year for this to happen.
Oh, without a doubt. And with Ohtani on the cover, we all know how, I guess, the Nintendo base does globally. I
Hmm.
mean, that might be even more popular than with Xbox and PS5 globally. Just the accessibility of the Switch currently now, especially how the next gen consoles are still a struggle to get. So this is going to bring a bigger. I mean, this is going to be the biggest game base user base that we ever had. We thought that last year. Yeah, find out
Yeah,
this year again.
it's exponential this year. It's
And,
crazy.
now to think about it with Nintendo Switch, we gotta bring it up. We gotta bring it up. It's not gonna have creative stadiums, which I don't consider Nintendo Switch like a next gen console. I
No.
see it more just up above, I guess, a 1 and a PS4, like, similar to that. Would that make
Yeah.
sense?
No,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
So but either way, it's handheld and you get to play with that. Now, we all call the Xbox BR runs, people are going shooting for BR. "Oh, this is gonna be an easy way to get my flawless runs." Now, we call the Mickey Mouse runs for BR, right? What do we call Nintendo Switch now? Mario runs?
Super Mario runs.
What do we call it? I mean, I feel like Super Mario, I mean, sometimes that game could be hard depending on
Sometimes
where
it
you at.
could be.
What if
It
you have Mario Maker or stuff like that, those crazy levels? I don't know, I don't think the Super Mario does justice.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough
I don't know.
Nintendo property to make that same connection, but no, yeah, that's just gonna be so cool to be able to experience Diamond Dynasty on yet another platform because we've played MLB The Show 21 on both Xbox
Yeah,
and PlayStation. And you actually made a tweet the other day saying the timing windows on Xbox are much different. And I'm
yes.
100% in agreement with you. Nobody can convince me that the timing windows on Xbox and the timing windows on PlayStation are the same. And so I'm curious to see if that's going to be another element to throw in there when we're playing the game on Switch, because there is going to have to be an adjustment. I'm curious what the game will run like, how many frames it's going to
That's
be. I,
what
I don't even know what the Switch gets to, because I mean, Nintendo's more about like the social gaming experience than hardcore performance, I think. So, and think about it. Like, think about how the Nintendo Switch is set up, where you have the two Joy Cons. You could just literally put that Nintendo Switch down, give one person a Joy-Con, give the other person a Joy-Con, and you can play head-to-head MLB The Show with your friend right there on the couch with the little Switch screen. Like,
yeah.
it's gonna be so cool, man. I'm so excited.
Now, with that said, we could go into features a little bit, like with the Nintendo Switch
Well,
and
hold on. We missed
oh,
something. We didn't talk
what,
about
the
the
release date?
actual release date.
The release date, yes.
Missed
Oh,
that.
okay. The release date is April 5th. That is a Tuesday. We assume once the deluxe edition gets released, we'll have early access, which will be on April 1st, and it'll be the typical release. Hey, this is actually sooner than I actually thought, because the prediction was it was going to be the last ranked seasons they did announce that week, which was like April 11th, 12th ish.
Mhm.
So it is before, I mean, it's less than a year from last year. Last year was around the 13th, 14th. I forgot what. I just know it was
Last year,
later.
the game, I think it was the April 20th release date, but
Yeah,
the
but that was
Legend
because everything
edition.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So now we're back to, a little bit earlier, and they're probably gonna shift to be earlier and earlier back to where they want probably, but here and there, it's on April 5th. I wouldn't, if you're listening now before Wednesday, I would not pre-order if you are usually someone that gets, like, the deluxe edition, get to gotta see what they have to offer first before I would pre-order, just my personal opinion. I think Koogs would agree with me as well,
Mhm.
uh, and we'll find out on Wednesday, but yeah, I I'm excited. We're kinda, like, almost 2 months away already, if you think of
It's
it.
coming up. It's coming up.
It
And and
feels like
and
it's coming
if
quick.
if the game let so the game's gonna come out on the 5th. If the Legend Edition, whatever, comes out those 4 days earlier, that would still be after opening day, 'cause assuming that the season's gonna start on time, 'cause we gotta throw that out there too. Um,
But that's that weekend, isn't it?
opening day is, I believe, March 31st.
Yeah, because I know I have tickets to April 2nd,
Yeah,
because I wanna see Scherzer. Hopefully, we're out of lockout, let's just say that, but they
hopefully,
are
yeah.
meeting tomorrow, so fingers crossed. Um
But yeah, let's get into some of these features.
Yeah, let's go. So I want to bring up what you were just talking about, like how you have a buddy playing a Nintendo Switch, and you probably could play with someone, whoever's PS5, whoever other console is. They did mention there's new ways to play with your friends in like a nice little sentence. I don't know what that is. We don't know whether it's just to match up again, but the word new just springs out, and I'm very curious what that could be, whether that's in DD, Roadshow player, or something like that. I don't think we're getting a complete overhaul, because I think they would tease that a little bit. Like what I'm saying, like if we get like a park, something like that, or a Sandline mode, I don't think that's coming. Who knows? They could surprise us on the features, but that's what's jumping on me right here. The new ways to play with friends. Do we get your idea with the BR with friends? How much I will love that, especially recently, Cougs, where you just competed in the BR Showdown. So imagine doing BR with friends with that type of tournament would just be fantastic.
Be great. We've been asking, at least I've been asking for that for years. Just I
Yeah.
think that would make awesome content. I think it's a fun it is a different type of experience for you and your friends. So hopefully that's only one thing they're adding as far as new ways to play with friends, because they also have a sentence in the features talking about the ball players. It says create and use multiple ball players beyond your road to the show personalized baseball RPG experience. Now, technically, it already kind of has gone beyond, just by the fact that you can use the same player in Diamond Dynasty.
Mhm.
But if we're talking about new ways to play with friends, and you know, pushing the ball player even farther, maybe there is some sort of like social element, social hub with ball players coming together, like a park in 2K or like the yard in Madden. I'm hoping that there's some sort of a social experience like that, because we've said it all the time. MLB The Show is the only sports game that really doesn't have that social experiment or social experience, and
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily need it, but I don't think it could be a negative in any way. So we'll see.
Yeah, just be an additional, like, tack on, which would be great to have. Just a alternate is if you get sick of one mode, you get to go to another. I mean,
Yeah.
um, I do also wanna bring up, since we're talking about Nintendo Switch and all different consoles, the cross-play, cross-save, and cross progression is big.
Yes.
Now that you have cross saves, you can always cross-play and progression if you link up your accounts to the show.com, but the cross saves, I that I like to hear, especially for me. I started playing franchise recently. I would love to, if I had to bring it over to, like, my PS5 or Nintendo Switch, that'd be pretty dude, playing on the couch, playing franchise or road show, just, playing what I had to do, and then all of a sudden, hop back on my desk if I need to and
Yep.
continue that. It'd be kinda cool.
It's awesome. It's super cool. Yeah. No, it's a big deal. It made my life a lot easier. It was a little rough linking the accounts at first this year, but once I figured it out, being able to just hop on an Xbox and play some BR and then hop back on my PlayStation to play ranked because, it's just the way I like to do things. It was a really easy, seamless experience. So
Oh, for sure.
hopefully all that keeps going with Switch this year.
Oh, without doubt. So, we'll see how that unfolds. They'll probably talk about it in the future features. Anyway, let's continue. Creative stadiums. This is kind of what we've been asking for. They thought they might be able to release it during this year, but that wasn't the case. And that is night games in creative stadiums. Now, I'm going to bring that up. The only way I'm a little skeptical by how night games will work, because we see how other users created, like, these crazy stadiums and actually made it feel like night games in their
Mhm.
created stadiums. So I'm very curious how that works. Is that gonna be like presets to lights where you had to have the lights at this particular spot in order to play night games?
It's a
Who
good question.
knows?
I didn't even think about that.
But yeah, those are the questions I have right off the bat. Is just like, that's what I'm going to guess. It's like the batter's eye. You had to have this type of batter or any type of batter's eye, but it has to be in this location. And I'm going to say the same thing for lights. You're going to have lights because someone's gonna miscue with lights if they could put them anywhere. They could put it behind the batter's eye, and then it just blinds your opponent, all this crazy stuff, which I'm sure and 100% feel comfortable with them figuring that out, which they will. Um, but those are the only questions I have for it.
Yeah, and we knew they were gonna make improvements to the mode. As they said, they were working on that mode for what? It was like one guy working on it for like 10
Like,
years before he
yeah, it's
released it.
crazy.
So you knew it was only gonna grow. And honestly, I think with like the first year of Stadium Creator was actually like really good. Like
Mhm.
obviously there's definitely ways to exploit stadiums. Like you're saying when you're trying to make night games, I don't even know if you can consider it night games or just
Yeah.
like inversing the colors. It feels like I don't even know, but yeah, there was a lot of good things in Stadium Creator, and we kind of knew it was just only going to go up from here. They're going to probably add more props you can use in your stadium, new types of stands, new, like you said, lights, and all these different types of things. I still hope that we get kind of like dynamic fans where we can actually place fans in part of the stadiums. Because I made a stadium and I kind of had sand and I wanted it to be like a beach vibe in the outfield with people hanging out around
Mhm.
like sand dunes and stuff. But they don't actually have any fans that you can put out there, and there's no fans walking around. So hopefully we can get a little bit more dynamic and add a little bit of life to some of the parts of our stadiums. Um, but like I said, last year was the first year for it, so it was pretty much only going to go up from there.
Oh, without doubt. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Have the fans out there, maybe move out your bullpen into the outfield, stuff like that. And but yeah, I was talking about this the other day. Like, if you told me that this is the first time they put creative state of mode in the game, I mean, which it was, like, beforehand, like, I just didn't know what it was. I just find it crazy because how well um it was implemented right
Yep.
from the start. So
Yep.
I totally agree. All right. Let's go to this one before we go into offline modes. Mini seasons mode
Yeah.
was kind of hinted at, a new set of new competition that you're going to be facing. My first guess of this is squad battles, like you see in other Ultimate Team modes, whether that's FIFA or Madden. where you face against the CPU. You have certain missions to. It's not like moments. It might. I guess it's similar to moments, but there's like a leaderboard towards it, and you're trying to accomplish something. It just gives you another thing to strive for offline DD, which I definitely think would be cool to see, because a lot of people love this offline uh, modes that either 2K has, FIFA has, or Madden has. So I think this is going to be their way to implement that. What I wish it could be, I kind of I do love that, but some part of me thinking that it might be our weekend league type of mode, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like we have enough information about it because at the moment we don't know if it's online, we don't know if it's
Yeah,
offline. Honestly, it could even be a mix between the two. It could be even more like instead of like an inning program, maybe it's a sort of like monthly battle pass where you have your normal rank seasons and then you have the mini seasons where everything you do kind of leads into that online games, offline games, and you get rewards through it. I don't know. It could
yeah,
be anything. So it's hard to speculate on until we get any sort of like, concrete news about it. But I am hoping that we do get some sort of offline seasons mode. I am hoping that we do get some sort of social mode. I am hoping that we do get some sort of weekend league. So honestly, if they could knock out 2 out of 3, if not only 1 out of 3, then I'd be okay with that. Whatever
yeah,
mini seasons ends up being, as long as it's one of like those type of things, I think it's a positive addition.
yeah. I do agree. So we'll find out as we get more information. It's just fun to put like the tinfoil hat on, just see what we can think of what it is. It's like the numbers from the Parallels last year. What does this mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
everyone had all this different ideas what it could be, and then it turned out to be one of the best additions to
Yeah.
DD. So we'll find out what that is. So let's
Tell me,
move to
tell me about March to October, Scuffy, the mode
March.
that everybody lines up to play. Day one, they buy the games like it's March to October season. Tell me a little bit about March to October.
Well, I heard they're adding new stuff to March to October. I heard they're adding uniforms now, custom uniforms, logos, custom stadiums. It was exactly what we wanted to have. Uh,
Man, for that's exactly what I was hoping to see for MLB The Show's main offline
yeah,
non-Diamond Dynasty experience. I mean, if you guys haven't picked up on this, we're talking about the fact that franchise did not get a mention in this. And normally I wouldn't be nervous about that, but the fact that they mentioned ball players, they mentioned Diamond Dynasty, they mentioned the stuff about crossplay, all that stuff. They mentioned March to October, but there wasn't a single sentence about franchise mode. As
yeah,
I don't even play the mode, and it makes me nervous because I have a ton of friends that love playing it. Daddy Dimmu is crushing it with franchise content. Ant Ortiz, RGS, M. Frisk. You're doing a full franchise like draft thing with custom teams and stuff. There's gotta be there has to be something this year. You can't go into MLB 22 dishing out the same old franchise mode that everybody year after year after year complains about because it has no depth, it doesn't have the right tools, it doesn't have all the features that it needs. I really, really hope that they have something up their sleeve because if I was a franchise fan, I would be not happy. I would be pissed off reading these features and not seeing a single hint towards anything involving franchise.
oh yeah, for sure. And before after our finale, there was like kind of like a little movement going with franchise. We saw what Madden happened when the Madden community pretty much like, all right, enough is enough. We want updates for franchise. We want something different because this is nonsense. And eventually they had a movement going and it was like make Madden franchise better. Now it's something similar to MLB The Show, where a hashtag was created to make franchise better in MLB 22, and there was a lot of talk about that and just frustrations built out y- on how they had it year in, year out, where it doesn't feel like anything really big is getting updated to this mode. I mean, we basically, when we had Mills and Frisk on from last season, which was basically right before 21 dropped, I could say we could have that same conversation right now with them too. and it'll probably be exactly the same with their frustrations that are going on,
100%.
and
Which
it's
also, not to cut you off,
yeah.
phenomenal episode. It's still up. Go listen to it if you haven't already, because most of the things they talk about are still relevant now. Go ahead.
Oh, without a doubt,
I just
hands
wanted
down.
to make sure people knew about that episode.
Yeah, hands down. You can find it on YouTube, you can find it on, any, podcast platform for us, and with that said, and with March, October getting the news, I'm very Ant Ortiz actually put a tweet out this today, who is known to be, like Kook said, known to be a franchise well, he is a franchise creator for MLB and other, sports games. He's thinking maybe the code is that complicated for franchise that because this is the franchise they've been running with since maybe the beginning of MLB The Show, that's too complicated to go through to upgrade. That's why March, October is getting all the resources, and this is their way to flesh out a new way of creating franchise, and that's what they want to lead towards to. It's just going to take longer than people want. If that's the case, and that's what they wanna do, I feel like they just need to be a little bit more transparent about that. Like, "Hey, we see the frustrations of a franchise. We know what's happening. Just give the one-on-one." And I think that's where you start rekindling that relationship a little bit between the franchise players and that, and saying, "We want the same thing you guys want, but however, this is the path we gotta take to get there." And that's what it feels like. It feels like March, October is going to be that and be eventually fleshed out into the new franchise. Well, but then again, who knows? Because we haven't heard that from them.
Yeah.
Um,
And and
Communication is kind of key here.
and even but going off that point though, where Antonio is saying like maybe the code is just too much of an overhaul to do like year to year or whatever. It's like, okay, if it's a huge task that you have to take and it takes a couple years to get there, that's fine. Number one, you got to communicate that, like you said. And number two, people have been having the same frustrations with franchise modes for MLB The Show's franchise mode for like 4 or 5 years at least now. And, you know, 4 to 5 years, that's a long time to ask a sports gaming fan to wait for significant upgrades to the mode that they want to play. You know, imagine if we didn't get inning programs and we didn't get player programs and we didn't get headliner packs and all these different things until MLB The Show 21 and we were still playing the same bare bones MLB 16 Diamond Dynasty.
Mhm.
We're going to be upset. We're going to be calling for change. We're going to be asking for these features to be added in the game. That kind of feels like what the franchise community has been going through for the past 4 or 5 years. They're asking for all of these improvements. They're you got guys like M. Frisk literally in his own free time making surveys for the
Yeah.
community to do so he can then just in his with his own goodwill send it to SDS and be like, look, people, I got thousands and thousands of responses. This is what people want to see. These are the biggest issues with franchise mode. These are the things you need to attack. But they just never, never make that step that the community feels like is a good first step. And you know, it's like even a couple of years ago when you got like relocation, but you couldn't you still had to play at the same stadiums and like or whatever it was. Like it's just little things like that. It feels like they do the bare minimum to franchise mode and then expect everybody to play March to October when it's March to October is not the experience that those franchise guys want to play. They want a deep, immersive experience with total control of the team, not this moment to moment. Sometimes I'm playing, sometimes I'm simulating, sometimes I'm player locked. It's a completely different experience. And I
Oh, yeah.
get it. If you want to streamline March to October to get to that point, that's okay. But I just don't think you're going to turn the hardcore franchise fan base towards that route. I think they're going to want their mode as it is and just upgraded. So SES has got a they got a tall task ahead of them. They've got a lot of trust to win back with the franchise community and so far with what we got today, I don't think they're off to a very good start, but maybe they could redeem themselves if they just haven't talked about franchise yet. We'll see.
Yeah. We shall see. It's just like with it saying absolutely nothing, like no words speak louder kind of thing. And I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just hoping because now, like, digging into franchise a little bit more, which I did not see myself doing, by this time of the year, but I kinda wanna get invested more because I do like the storytelling that you could do within franchise, but then when you see Juan Soto getting traded for peanuts, um, over and over again, I'll give you a story about franchise. I think you get a kick out of this. Was watching Paul, Sporer was doing a rebuild of the Royals, right?
Mhm.
So, he was he was like, "Alright, I'm gonna do a crazy, trade to get Soto," because we've been seeing Soto's been like, it was like the whole week was like people were in franchise seeing Soto get traded for, like, nothing. So he's like, "Alright, let me do the same thing." So he does that. He's the Royals, trades Salvi and someone else to get Soto. You get Soto, alright?
Yep.
2 weeks into spring training, what happens? Salvi gets released on waivers, who he just got traded for Soto, a
In
franchise player.
in spring
And what
training,
in spring training, and what does Paul do? Put a
signs
waiver
him.
in for Salvi and gets right back.
Oh
Trade
my
for nothing.
oh my god, dude. That's
I
brutal,
was just
man.
I was just hysterically laughing about that, but
I
it's
it's
hard.
funny, but it's sad that it's funny, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, it's like,
yeah,
God, man.
yeah,
It's
so,
depressing.
I'm just hoping for the best, and especially now, even for Madden, like, we even they're still they're trying to do better. They were supposed to have 3 updates for their franchise, they only did 1 so far, and then other franchise creators, we've been and even you yourself, you played a little bit, is NCAA 14 revamped, and it's
It's
just like,
incredible how deep that dynasty mode is. For a game that came out in
how
2014, and I
fun.
know they've revamped it, but it's incredible what was there on the base feature set of a game that came out almost 8 years ago. It's
Yeah,
insane.
and it's funny because a lot of movie creators just took the ride, and I guess they see now they're seeing more like, "Oh, hey, this is fun. This is fun when you could actually do something like this and within a sports game like that," and then you go to MLB and you're like, "I can't really do that here," or it's just not the same. It's a different sport, I understand, but there's something about the attachment of with the gameplay and then with what you could do, within that franchise that makes it more immersive and be able to, have fun with it. So yeah, I think that's all the features that we had for today, right?
Yeah,
Did I miss any?
as far as what we saw in, like, the show.com,
Yeah.
features, they talked about, like, next gen stuff, but that was pretty much, like, stadiums now get night games and, 60 FPS on those consoles and
Yeah,
4K
nothing like
if your stuff
too.
can support it, just some technical stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
There
but
was
they
a fact,
yeah,
though.
I was just gonna say that, the FAQ, yep. They've
I call it fact. I don't know why I call it fact, but yeah. Frequently asked questions. Let me just say it like legit. There's some notable points. Stadiums won't transfer. It makes sense because now they're putting night games in. Um, it's I think that's pretty much one of the bigger reasons. Before at like 3:30 or like 3 o'clock, it first said that you could transfer stadiums, and they updated to say no stadiums transfer. And I think that's going to be hand in hand with the night games because there's going to be had to be something with the night games, to make it online playable or something like that.
Mhm,
No yearly saves again, for the second straight year. I wonder if that's part of the creative teams, but I feel for the other creators because I've been using Fictional's, Bacon's fictional roster,
mhm,
which he creates every single year, which is fantastic, by the way. If you're a franchise player and haven't used it yet, look it up. Bacon Fictional's roster in the vault. It's all different. It's just a player pool of fictional names. He makes a variety of different players. It makes it a lot of fun to play with. Been having a blast with it. But anyway, he's going to have to do that each every year now. It feels like, and it's just like that's a lot of time, man. You know how much time less spent it would be if we could do like either the roster vault to be able to do yearly by yearly, but no yearly saves. And I think that's like the two biggest parts I pointed out. I'm looking at it right now. If there's anything
yeah,
else
everything else felt from what I saw, everything else felt pretty not
standard, right?
self-explanatory, but just
Yeah.
stuff that we're used to.
Yeah. Everything else is pretty much the same. Like with the Game Pass now being there, platforms that's going to be on and stuff like that. Your logos will be able to transfer, so I know it said stadiums not be transferred, logos just like normal. They didn't give a deadline though, I don't think yet, so be on the lookout for a deadline if you haven't uploaded your logo to the vault. But yeah, um, now now with the cover being released, now it's time, like we said, it's like a new year once again. Now we wait for the features because 'cause they're gonna do features again, which they, pointed out in their blog. If you did last year, I actually liked the features because it kinda went straight to the point. Everything was structured, and you're able to see in and out, what's about, what to talk about, and you get a lot of fun stuff with that. And then new legends, of course. And then we should eventually get the trailer. And myself and Kooks actually looked this up before we started this episode. Like, when did we get the gameplay trailer? We didn't get it until March 22nd, and that was after pretty much all the features. And we probably expect the same, so we probably won't get a gameplay trailers anytime soon.
Yep.
But look out for a schedule from either the show.com or their Twitter account when the features are going to come.
Yeah, and while you were talking, I went over and looked at some of these feature premiere things, and they started, I think the first one was pitching and hitting, and that went live on March 11th, 2021. And keep in mind, the game came out April 20th last year. So that's about a month and like a week or so, maybe 6 weeks before the launch of the game. So if that were to be the case this year, maybe we could expect some feature premieres to start mid to late February. And last year
Yeah.
they did 6 feature premieres, and so I don't know if they're going to do 6 this year. I don't know if they're going to do 4. I don't know if they're going to do more or less. But I'm hoping mid to late February is when we really start getting weekly videos and streams and teases and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm excited that we don't have to wait till the middle of April. I'm excited that we just get the game right at the start of April, so we have
And
less
right
time
when
to wait.
baseball starts too,
Yeah,
so that's
great,
pretty cool.
great.
So we should have, Inside Edge right from the start, so that's pretty
Yes.
cool.
Oh man, I'm so excited for
Yeah, right
Inside
from
Edge.
day
Forgot about that.
1 we get it, so that's good.
I'm excited.
Um, and what was I gonna say? Alright, so we all know how the features usually go. It's usually, like, the first thing is, like, gameplay, and then it's probably road to show, and then maybe franchise. They wait to do DD until later. Now, from what there you go, I wanna see if there's anything you're looking out for, maybe for those type of features? Like, we know the typical ones we get. Is there one or a couple items that you're looking out for that you want to hear? Like, we could start with just gameplay. The gameplay is gonna be the first one. It usually is the first one.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things I wanna see, to be honest with your gameplay. Besides, I wouldn't put server improvement on gameplay. I would just put that on. I don't even know where you put that on. That has to be a whole separate thing with all the freeze offs, and that still occurred. I had 2 today.
Me too. I had back to back.
I had to deal with. It
Terrible.
sucks because I was trying to go for, I had this great BR team, and then this is the first time I saw it. I just hit a single into the outfield, and left fielder caught it. I mean, took, caught it pretty much, and it froze. First time I seen that. But anyway,
Super annoying.
back to my point. We know gameplay is gonna be the first one. Anything you wanna see from that, and I think we're
Um,
gonna have the same similar.
yeah, I mean, obviously, I want to see. I personally am looking for some hitting changes this year. I really feel like the the feedback system just needs a complete overhaul. I don't feel like it gives you a good indication of what you're doing right or wrong. There's so many different instances where the PCI or the timing just doesn't make sense with the result that you get. I hope there's some overhaul there. And also I'm curious to see what they're going to do with pinpoint pitching, because at first I didn't think pinpoint pitching was too easy, but now that we're in the later part of the year and we've got all these guys with just great control and the top tier pitchers, it's real pinpoint pitching is really easy. And I think that's one of the things that's made this game really tough late in the year is the fact that I feel like it's kind of hard to play this game like casually, I guess. The fact that you're always getting dotted up and you're always facing outlier fastballs no matter what level you're on. Um I just feel like pitching was really easy this year. So I'm curious to see what changes they're making to pinpoint and also how it's going to affect like stamina for pitchers and things like
Yeah.
that. Because no, we know that was also an issue too. So yeah.
Yeah, I am one of the big ones is especially since I play a lot of BR. I know it's all-star, but still all PCI hits
Yes.
are probably the worst I ever seen it. I don't know. I think that's what like, it goes along with you wanna see more hitting updates. I think that goes hand in hand. And yeah, man, um, it's just been bad. The stamina thing was one of my things, especially I don't play that much rank, but that was definitely a big thing, especially when you told me Earl Hershiser pitched like what 158 pitches or something like that, went
Yep.
through 9 and stuff.
Yep.
That
160 pitches.
that should not happen.
Shouldn't happen.
So yeah, fielding, I feel like fielding was better this year. Um,
Yeah. I actually, I feel like fielding was pretty good this year for the most part,
yeah,
actually.
I still wanna see relays to be a little bit more urgent.
Hmm.
That's about it.
I'd love to see perfect relays to any base.
Yes, yes, I would love to
That
see
would be
that.
great.
Yes, because that would
Yeah,
be
I
fun.
mean, overall, I don't feel like fielding was the
No.
frustrating aspect of gameplay this year, like it was last year when everybody was dropping fly balls and stuff and not locking on. There's still been a couple instances of that this year, but for the most part, I feel like fielding was definitely a positive on the gameplay side of things this year.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll go with that. For, the other features that we should see is definitely in, like, Road to Show. I'm curious where because they said last year, I remember, Nick was pointing out in the feature, like, this is just the beginning of the foundation of what they wanna build. This is, like, the first step to reach that long-term goal of theirs. I'm very curious where they progress it. A lot of people didn't like after seeing the year, like, go on through the year that the Roadshow character was connected to DD. Um, I'm curious if they attack that at all, or they just keep at it because that's part of the long-term goal. That's only the Roadshow questions I have. I didn't play as much, but now with I'm telling you, the Switch changes everything, man. It really does. I am willing to sit down, grind, because I'm just be chilling on the couch and play a lot more Road to Show, do my moments and stuff like that. But I'm curious on that. And then of course we went over our franchise talk. I'm trying to think what other like known features
Well,
that I've
yeah, I mean, for the road to the show, I feel like that feature premiere is going to focus more on the ball player overall
yeah.
because if the ball player is going to be in multiple different modes again, I feel like they'll probably focus on that. I'm sure they'll do one on March to October. Will they do one on
Oh,
franchise? I
who
don't
knows?
know. Who
Did we
knows?
get one? Did we? Oh yeah, because of depth charts. I remember that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna obviously do one on Diamond Dynasty, and that's probably the one that I'll be looking forward to the most. And that's usually like the last one, which
And
is
I don't want to get
always
into it now
frustrating.
because we'll have a lot to talk about that, like on a full episode.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so we don't need to get
I
into
mean,
that.
like we're Diamond Dynasty centric dudes. I know you're
Yeah.
getting more into the franchise stuff now, but at least for me, like Diamond Dynasty is what keeps this game alive for me. If this game didn't have Diamond Dynasty, I wouldn't be playing it into January, February. Like that's what keeps the game moving for me. It's what I like the most. So obviously, I'm definitely going to be locked in when that feature premiere is going. And you know what? Another thing I thought about
What's that?
with the feature premieres and stuff because the feature premieres those were streams. They did the feature premieres were like 30 to 40-minute streams that were
Mhm.
I think pre-recorded. They usually broadcasted those on Thursdays, but every Monday we would get a video in the morning from either like GameStop or I don't
Oh
know,
yeah.
SDS or whatever. And those were the videos with Fernando and Coach.
Mhm.
So is Otani gonna be rocking out with Coach this year? Because
That would be
I
great.
need it. I need it.
That it has to happen. We already saw him in the mocap,
Yep.
so I am oh my god, those things oh, I just wanna see them interact, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
And then you get it like maybe a Tawny type, I guess, doll as well? I
Oh
don't
my
know, like a
god.
puppet?
Hey, Ramon, if you guys have an Otani puppet doll, whoever Colin, Doug, whoever's listening to this,
Uh,
I will do anything you want. Just yeah, I need an Otani doll. I need an Otani doll to sit with Coach on the
yeah,
couch back here of my office. I need it, please. We'll do
yeah.
anything.
So it's gonna be fun to see. We should actually get those probably within, like, next week, maybe?
What?
Just like a tease of, like, the if we get, like, a Tawny with Coach, maybe for
Oh
the,
yeah,
like, schedule and stuff like that?
well, they're gonna do the legend thing on Wednesday, and then I feel like that'll be it for this week, and then
Yeah.
Monday, the what is that, the 6th or the 7th, Monday the 7th, I think we'll probably get like a little video, and then
Mhm.
maybe a feature premiere by the end of the week. Who knows?
Yeah, and then we'll have something to talk about next week.
Mm.
Oh, and that kind of transitions to us, I guess, before we get out of here is inside the show. Where does that lead us? We're in a new season, of course, if you're listening now, episode 1. Um, much more that's gonna be the same, but there's gonna be more, just a little bit news about our front. Every Tuesday every Tuesday, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, episode will be out. I we want to keep it consistent so you know when it drops. So we'll be recording just like we are now on Monday night, and then we're going to be releasing it on Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning, depending where you are. So that's going to be a thing. So be on the look that. Always know that there's going to be a new episode, unless we tell otherwise on our Twitter, Inside the Show PC. Once again, Inside the Show PC. I had to plug it. But yeah, 12 almost said 12%, 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. I sound like a broken record, but that's going to be one thing. We'll definitely have, we did a live stream of the finales. We'll have some special streams where we'll be streaming live on probably either our YouTube, or if it's on one of our Twitch channels, we'll let you know. We'll definitely do that. I do want to start streaming at least once a week, once 22 comes out, is to play with viewers, on the YouTube channel, so be sure to look out for that for more news on that. And Kooks, yeah, it's another season, another year. It's gonna be a blast to do this with you once again. We're missing doing this. We both said
Mhm.
that before we're doing that, so yeah, I can't
Yeah.
wait.
It's gonna be awesome. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel Inside the Show. We're gonna be bringing out videos throughout the year. It's not just gonna be the podcast anymore. We
Yeah,
have a ton of content plans that we want to execute this year, and with the support from you guys that we've seen on the podcast, the growth that we've seen from the podcast, we really appreciate it, and we want to just keep taking this thing to the next level. This is inside the show. We want to bring you guys all the different intricacies of the things that are going on, the things that are topical in MLB The Show. And, as long as you guys keep coming out, keep, listening to the podcast, listening to the videos, subscribing to the channel, we're going to keep pumping this stuff out. So thank you guys for all the support over season 2. Season 3 is a brand new journey. I hope that we get a great game this year. So that way we don't have
yeah,
to have those serious talks about freeze offs or franchise or whatever. I hope we get the game that everybody wants this year. So um, just stick around with us for the ride, and we'll make sure it's a good time every week.
without a doubt. So yeah, there it is. There's episode 1 in the books. We'll be back here next week. Remember, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Tuesdays. If you're listening now, it's a Tuesday, or if during the week, you know when to come back. And yeah, Kooks, this is fun. This felt like old times. I thought we might have some hiccups here and there. I think we
Ah,
did
we're
well.
we're we ain't, we're not rookies
We're
anymore. We got
we're back
this.
in the saddle again. That's what it feels like. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Anyway, guys, appreciate you guys listening today or watching on YouTube. Also, if watching on Spotify videos, that'll be the first time I'm trying to get this on Spotify videos. Hopefully you're watching on there. So that's also going to be another way to watch it, is Spotify videos as well. So be on the lookout for that. Anyway, appreciate you guys listening. If you're not sub to our YouTube channel, once again, it's Inside the Show. Once again, Inside the Show at YouTube. Our Twitter is Inside the Show PC. Once again, twitter.com/inside the show PC. Kooks is at Kooks46 on Twitter, where you find all his socials. I'm at Scuffy Mickey TV. We'll catch you guys next week on Inside the Show. Out.